What's up, y'all, and welcome into the latest edition of Deal or No Deal Island Insiders here on the Jack Vita Show. I'm Jack Vita alongside my co-host, Miranda Rose Harrison, the agent of chaos herself. Good afternoon, Miranda.
Good afternoon, Jack. I look forward to these all the time, so I'm best part of my day.
Best part of my week. No, I can't say that. That's best part of the week is this, talking with Brooke, and then whoever's eliminated. Those the 3 episodes. Yeah. All the Deal or No Deal Island, and the hour I spend watching the episode too. All of everything Deal or No Deal Island. That's like second to golf, or sorry, golf is second to that.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, agreed.
But okay, we've got another episode that we're discussing today. So for those who are just finding this show, we've got our Deal or No Deal Island recap, which is a little bit of a different show from this one, which is Brooke Struck and myself. We kind of give like a post-game breakdown of what we just saw on the latest episode as viewers. We also have the exit interview. So Nick was on earlier this week. If you guys want to hear my interview with Nick, you can go and check that out. And then we've got this, which is called Insiders, which is a deep dive inside look at the episode featuring members from the cast. Of course, Miranda made it up through 5 episodes. And today we've got someone who's still alive and kicking. We'll bring her in a second. Nice little clue there, Night Owl. Miranda, why don't you give a nice warm introduction to who we're talking to today?
So this person was one of my favorite people. She was my tent mate. She kept me laughing throughout the whole game. One of the most kindest person that I've ever met in my life. The girl you will not see without red lipstick and some sort of animal prints. Let's bring out Amy.
Amy McCoy, welcome to the show. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. You've made it if you're on the Jack Vita podcast. So I'm excited.
Amy, did you hear that? She said
I did not hear that.
You're one of the kindest people that she's ever met in her life. I thought you were one of the meanest, nastiest people ever on the history of reality TV.
Hate them haters.
It's really, really hard. It's really hard to hear that about myself because that's one thing I've never been called in my life ever. I'm a really giving, generous, I don't want anyone to feel left out, everyone included type person. So it's hard hearing that about myself. I don't take it to heart though. I knew signing up for this. I knew signing up for reality TV. I'm a huge reality TV buff. So I know from following other reality TV people and reading comments that it's part of the game. But one thing I will say is when you're on a show, this show or any other reality TV show, and this is your first time, you don't you can envision what you think it's going to be like. But then when you get on the show and you're like, these are real life people. I've made real life connections. I've heard real life stories about people, about, their grandmother or past relationships or their reason why they're there, being a teen having a teen pregnancy. You really connect with these people, but you also go to bed every night being like, yeah, that's a really sad story and it breaks my heart, but this is a game. So every single morning I woke up and I would do a quick little prayer and I would tell myself, Amy, this is a game. You're not going to be America's favorite. You're not going to be loved by everyone. You're probably going to be hated. I knew I was going to get a lot of hate, especially when I saw the rest of the cast, when we walked on the island for the first time and I'm seeing these tall, beautiful girls and these fit men. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm 4'11", I'm chunky. I am not a gym rat. What did I sign up for? I can't do this. And then I see Kim being very confident and glowing and ready to take it on. And I'm like, you know what? She's giving me courage. Why am I doubting myself? So even right when I stepped on the sand, essentially, your mind is just flooded with all these things. And you're like, do I stick with my strategy? What am I going to do? And, there's just so much emotion going on that you really just you really kind of lose sight. If you don't reel yourself in, you kind of can easily lose sight of it being a game because you just start connecting with people so intensely. So maybe I got in my head too much by saying, this is just a game, Amy. This is just a game. There's cameras everywhere. Remember why you're here. And, you know, from like the first hour on, I got out of my own head and I said, I don't care if I have to be cutthroat. I don't care if I have to be mean, if I have to backstab. Like, I left my husband and my 3 kids at home to do this. I'm going to do any and everything in my power to get the job done and protect the people that I want to work with. Of course, day one, I didn't know who I wanted to work with, but I knew eventually I would have a side or, you know, hopefully an alliance that we could be really strong. So, you know, the first couple of hours I was in my head and then I was like, you know what? It's a game. I'm not here to win America's heart. I'm not here to make best friends. I'm not looking for a husband. I have best friends at home. Like, I am here strictly to win millions of dollars to change my family's life. I grew up very humbly. I grew up with very humble beginnings. And I want to give my kids more than I had growing up. So I said, the only thing that matters in this moment is my husband, my kids, my family. So however I come across to America, that's just going to be how I come across. Now, with that being said, I didn't plan on being the villain or just being so cutthroat and mean. I know there's a lot of clips that I come off very cutthroat and mean, but something I want to clear up. For instance, Aron has since went on Reddit and said a lot of things pertaining to this, but the clip that I think America really started hating me was after Temple one night. We were at the picnic table. Aron comes up and says, "No, Miranda can vouch for this. That picnic table looks like a little picnic table. That's a long picnic table. So I'm on the very end over here, and Aron is at the very front. So I can hear him talking. I don't know exactly what he's saying. I just hear him. I think Jordan say, "Do you want to sit here?" And he was like, "Yeah, if it's not." I didn't know he said if it's not problematic, like to have a conversation. I thought he just meant like, if you guys are cool with me sitting here, I'll sit here. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, well, actually, I do want to have a conversation with you in front of everyone. Like, I don't want to lie, throw anybody's name. I don't want to backstab. Like, I just want to have a conversation with you in front of everyone. And the reason I asked him for that conversation is because at the end of Temple, so when we leave Temple and somebody goes home, we all go straight back, generally to the pavilion and have dinner or a snack or whatever. So what America didn't see was Aron basically tell me, shut up, that's enough. Or be quiet, that's enough. I don't know the exact verbiage he used, but he basically was telling me to be quiet. And I'm like, we're at Temple. Like, you guys tried to have Miranda back your little plan, go with your little plan and get out Steph. So you bet your butt if that plan would have worked and Miranda got out Steph, you guys would have been yelling and hollering and our plan worked and being all excited. So the fact that our plan worked and we were finally able to get Alyssa out after 3 tries. Miranda couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because of the banker's bonus. And then Steph was finally able to do it. Now, I'm not condoning the words they had back and forth. I wasn't a part of that. They both said some mean, vicious things back and forth. But what I will say is it's not fair that I can't have my voice heard in Temple. You know, Rob's over here like, what's going on? Why is everybody so happy? What was she saying? You know, and I'm talking. Like, I'm sorry that Aron is a very emotional person, but that doesn't mean I can't react the way I would and I can't say my piece at Temple and just be done with it. So the fact that he cut me off and didn't let me talk or say my piece, like, I'm a country girl. I was raised like I'm independent. Like, if something's on my mind, I want to say it, but I wanted to say it in front of everyone. So when he got
what were you going to say, by the way? What were you saying?
I was trying to say, Aron, like I said, hey, I want to have a conversation if you're open to it. And he was like, okay.
No, when he shut you up, what were you saying?
Oh, I was trying to explain that, you know, you guys had a plan and it didn't work. But had it worked, you guys would be all excited. So just because we're not allies and we're on opposite sides of the game, like Rob and Aron and Alyssa, and at this point, maybe Jordan, I don't know where Jordan lies. Back to that episode. And then me, Dawson, Miranda, if she was still there, Nick, like, you know, we're playing on opposite sides. But what I was trying to say was, you guys are like condemning us or getting upset at us for being like, Aron's getting upset at us for being happy that that Alyssa's gone, but Alyssa was on their side. Like our side, our alliance, our side finally hit victory after 3 times. We finally were able to get one of my non-alliance members out. So to me, it's a game, and that's a victory. Like if you're able to get an enemy per se out of the game that's not on your side and rooting for you, that's a win. But we couldn't celebrate our win because Aron, wasn't having it. And I was like, okay, he walked off. Like, I'll let it go. I'll let him calm down. But I still felt like I deserved to be able to say my piece. Like I deserved to be able to explain to Rob or whoever what I was trying to say in that moment. But then America doesn't see what Aron is saying to me at Temple. America only sees me bullying Aron and asking for a conversation. I hear people say, of course, she asked for a conversation in front of everyone because she wants to be the center of attention. That's not it. I wanted the conversation in front of everyone because I didn't want Aron to later go back and twist my words and say, Amy was really plotting to try to get me with them and get Rob out or, just twist anything. I wanted to be out in the open with it. But again, I know it's a game coming in. The edits are going to make you into whatever character they want you to be. This is a TV show. So, the hate I'm getting, the bully, the mean, I've been called fat, I've been called ugly, I've been told I have frizzy hair, like all of those comments. I knew what I signed up for. I don't let them get to me personally. I'm a bad mom. I can't believe your kids are watching this. Like my kids are basically grown, so they understand it's a game. So, those comments, I'm just like, you guys, like if we as characters or castmates can understand it was a game, like surely you guys can understand this is just a game. So, I'm not America's favorite, and that's okay. I didn't do the show to be the next Boston Rob. I didn't do the show to win America's hearts. I did the show to potentially change my life, my family's life, my friend's life. So, if I'm the bully of Dondi or I'm the most hated player of Dondi, then I'll just have to own it because it is what it is.
Listen, you're not, and I want to let America know this part. I believe it was challenge 2 when you and me were partners, right? Okay, so when we decided who the hunter and the gatherers are and that I was going up in that tree, Amy very well could have gone up in that tree, but with that personal offer, I had like not 1 inch of me thought to get that personal offer. And Amy looked at me and said, listen, Miranda, go get that personal offer. Get it for yourself. I don't need it. You go up there, you get it. I don't care how long it takes you, even if it puts us in a bad position, you go up and get it. And I'm getting chills talking about it because, I went up there and I freaking got that. And in the middle, even though I was getting a little tired because it is high up there, I heard Amy all the way in the back, go Miranda, and all the while, like, everybody else was worried about, a lot of people could have gotten the personal offer, but I think a lot of them were worried about getting back to their partner because they didn't want to let their partner down. Right. Amy let me know from the start, like, listen, you go ahead and you get that. And then, we'll put in work when that's done. So because of that, I got all the arrows for her, gave her everything. I was able to get the personal offer. And then she shot down a case within 2 arrows. Didn't even need to get all the arrows, right? But the fact is, like, and I split the money with her because I would have never had that money. I don't even think I would have been motivated to get it because in my mind, I was thinking about the team and, like, I would not want to put us in the bottom 2 because I was too slow. So,
well, and I told you, I said, I grabbed her shirt and I was like, Miranda, I'm married. I have 2 incomes. Like I did have to quit my job to come here, but I have an income back home. Like, it's just you. Like, go get this money. Nobody knows how far we're going to make it. This is guaranteed money. Like, go get that money. I'm not going to be upset.
This didn't make TV, by the way. People didn't see this on TV. You guys got this money, yes.
No, they did not see this on TV at all. But I did tell Miranda, I said, go get this money. And I was so proud when I saw that she did get it. And I never in a million years expected or wanted her to split that with me at all. But I've been single before. I've had to pay bills by myself. So I knew what it's like, especially leaving a job for 30 days. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I genuinely wanted her to take care of herself in that moment.
Right. And again, without her, like I heard her cheer when I was halfway up that tree, and it was just the most beautiful thing. It was just like, like this extra oomph, and I got up there. And at first, Jordan was way up there. She was like climbing it like a little spider monkey. I'm like, dang, Jordan, how'd you get up there like that? So I assumed, she got the personal offer and stuff, but it was only me, Nick, and Alyssa. And the edits only show Alyssa. And Alyssa's the only one that didn't split it with her teammate. And then kind of kept a secret from everybody, which it wasn't a secret because like I saw that her personal offer flag was like not hanging anymore. So I was like, oh, cool. But then like she said she didn't get it. And then I was confused. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Must have fallen. But yeah, Amy, like a lot of off camera things that show Amy's true person. When you're in game mode, you're in game mode. But when you got time to like relax and stuff, like that's when you show your true colors too. So
yeah, when you can actually take the gamer hat off and like the excursion's over, temple's over, you've learned who the fate for the night, and you can actually just shower and like have that 5 or 6 hours to decompress from the day. Like Miranda was my tent mate, and 9 times out of 10, we weren't even in the tent strategizing. We were laughing. We were talking about, things in real life. They probably got tired of hearing about my husband and kids. But we literally used that time. We literally used that time to just get to know each other as people and not gamers. So that was nice to have that decompression at the end of the day. And probably some of my favorite times on the island, honestly.
Right.
So, Amy, you mentioned, just to rewind for a second, you mentioned being a big-time reality TV fan. Do you have a favorite franchise that was like an inspiration for you to eventually go out and compete?
So The Amazing Race. My mom actually has been trying out for Big Brother since I was in high school. She's made it pretty far a couple times. But we tried out for The Amazing Race. We sent in tapes and everything last summer, and we got calls and people, they really liked us, but I believe that demographic with like mom and daughter, like parent child duo was kind of already taken. So they were like, keep trying, you guys are so fun, like you guys would make really good TV. And we're like, okay. And then this came along, and I don't even know if this is public knowledge or not. I think it actually is, because you can still search it and see this, but it started as teams. So me and my mom went really far into it as teams. And then, closer to the actual like final cutoff, here's cast, here's not. They said with the writer's strike, they're going a different creative direction. And so it was individuals. So I started this with my mom. My mom and I have watched reality TV together since, like I said, since I could remember, especially Big Brother. So Big Brother is her thing, but I love The Amazing Race. That's what I thought I was signing up for, was to do The Amazing Race and see the world with my mom. And then it turned into this. So when I heard, I didn't have to hear it. They were like, millions of dollars are at stake. And I was like, millions? Like if you win The Amazing Race, you only earn $1 million. Yeah. So they said millions with an S. And I was like, okay, I'm in. I'll eat whatever. I'll jump off cliffs. Sign me up. I don't care. But when I tell you, never in my wildest dreams would I imagine the excursions that we've had to do. Wow. Like that's
the first one. I mean, I was literally running, thinking I was going to be hopping in some trees. Little did we know it was quicksand.
I face planted. You guys see me go, boop, boop. I literally just face planted right off the bat. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What did I get myself into? I'm going home episode 1. It's fine, guys.
They kept trying to tell us like what shoes to wear. And I'm like, no, it's okay. I'll wear my boots. My work boots. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I would have done so much better if I just wore my no shoes.
Yeah. I think I ended up wearing
pounds each leg, man. It was hard.
Yeah. I think I ended up wearing water shoes.
Yes.
I showed up in tennis shoes, and I was like, I saw people switching to water shoes, and I was like, okay, I'll do water shoes. It's fine. But they were brand new Brooks. So I'm kind of glad I didn't wear them in the mud, but then they ended up getting lost anyway. I never saw them again. So
Right.
Oh,
Most
no.
people lost their shoes in the mud. I wish I would have, but I couldn't even untie my boots.
yeah.
Like, there was a moment where it was like, does anybody want to go for that red case? I honestly was thinking about it, but I was like, nah, I just don't want to untie these shoes. Like, that was like the one thing that really kind of stopped me, because, the red case had to have something in it.
Right.
There must, but then again, I heard everyone talk and they're like, no, we can't do that. I'm like, okay. Yeah,
Let me
Can
just tell you, if there would have
confirm
been a red case anywhere in sight, if there would have been a red case like right at the beginning, I would have grabbed the red case and walked all the way around the tree line, because I'm 4'11". That sand was to my thigh. Like, I could not move.
right. And it was hard because the cases were full of water. So not only are you trying to lift this case up, like, you need two hands most of the time. You're seeing people with two hands. And then you're just suction cupped. So, and then it's hard because once you're suction cupped, you have nothing to grasp onto. So you're face planting, trying to, move yourself a little bit. And oh my God, I was so exhausted. I felt like there was no more air in me to come out. And then
it's so
I was like,
hot. It is so hot on top of this. It's just
humid.
It felt 115 degrees, it felt like.
Yeah, and that was hot mud. It wasn't a nice mud spa. It was straight mud and hotness. And you know what? We had cold showers, and I'm actually very grateful that we had cold showers and no hot water, because it was the one formal thing of like air conditioning for us.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do cold showers, but like,
right.
Even walking on the sand, some days it's just so hot you have to have like flip-flops or something unless the sun's going down, because it's just hot everywhere.
Right, because we can't leave the island. Like, there's no leaving an island. We can't go to a bar or something. We're strictly, and we don't even have the full island. We have perimeters. So, like,
strip.
Yeah.
A little strip. But it was beautiful. I mean, it was beautiful nonetheless, but man, it was hot.
I would do it. It's almost like Florida, but a little bit more butt rashes come along with it.
Yeah, butt rashes and bites and cuts and
sand fleas. That was one thing that was hard to combat, is sand fleas. Some people got their ankles like ate up.
I was one of them.
Yeah.
Hey, Miranda, give me your thoughts on last night's episode, and then we'll get Amy's take on everything.
Whew. Let's start. Let's try to see what the excursion. Let's do temple. I have a question about temple, and I don't know if we're getting ahead of ourselves, but it comes to the point where Stephanie was, talking to Rob, and Rob was like saying that him and Aron had not mentioned anything about Rob or Nick being a target. And then Amy asks, Rob and Aron, has Nick ever been a target? And then Stephanie gets asked by Rob, like, saying like, oh, well, she must be the one spreading the rumors. What information did you get that Nick was being a target that night?
So I think the episode shows Nick laying flat in the water, being his goofy self. I think the episode shows Steph going up to Nick and saying like, hey, Rob's trying to get people to say me, but it's, like she kind of started that conversation then. And then Nick comes and tells me like, hey, Steph just said that Rob and Aron are coming after me. But that never wavered from the plan that if Nick won, Rob was going to go. Like, Rob is our biggest competition. And that's a compliment. Rob says episode 1, if these people were smart, they would get me out first. Right. Like, that's a compliment. Like, we recognize you are the best player, potentially the best reality player I'll see in my lifetime. And then now we're on a show competing beside you. Like, hello, we don't have a snowball's chance in hell here if you're still here. So, I mean, playing alongside him was iconic, but Nick and I both knew, like, Rob has to go. We thought Aron might crumble without Rob.
Right.
So that was always the plan. So it kind of threw me off. So at Temple, and I just want to preface this by saying, when I talk about like with you guys talking about the show. I'm talking about people and their characters on the show, not who
Right.
they are in real person, because I know both. So it kind of threw me for a loop. I was like, hold on a minute. Is Steph playing us? Like, what's
Right.
going on? Because, like, you know, one thing about Rob is he's sneaky, conniving, and he's been doing this 20 years. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to manipulate. But one thing about Rob is he's usually very upfront. Like episode 2 or 3, he's like, Amy's a problem for me. I knew he knew I was a problem with him. Like, and not a lot of stuff is really secretive with him.
Yeah.
So when Steph said that, I was like, hold up. Did Rob and Aron really say this, or is Steph just saying this to try to get the heat off her? Like my mind started, you know, turning. And so I told myself in that moment, I said, okay, if Nick can win this game and take Rob out, Nick and I have to reconvene and talk about some stuff, because I didn't know if he was kind of feeling like I am in the moment. Like, hold on, is Steph trying to, did they really say this? Is Steph trying to pull some stuff? So if Nick would have won at Temple, my plan was to me, Nick, Rob, and Aron, all 4 by ourselves, go talk. And I wanted to hear them out, and I wanted to see if he used the exact verbiage, or if he said things like, if I say, did you say this or did you not say this? I could kind of see if it was true or not because of the way Stephanie relayed the conversation. So I felt like I could like plant a little seed or like a little test and just see if he, you know, bit on it or not. But Nick went home and we lost a night out, and it is what it was. But I did pick up on that, and I often, you know, wondered like, okay, can I even, like, at this point it's Steph and I, you know, like, can I trust her? Like, what is going on? So my ears perked up a little bit, and I started keeping a closer eye on her and kind of watching who she went off and talked to and who she didn't, and seeing what time she went to bed and things like that. But that definitely piqued my interest, because I was like, hold on. It caused pause, because Rob's not really one to back down, you know, from a conversation. So the fact that he kept going back and forth with her made me think like, hold on, maybe there is a little bit of truth to what Rob's saying, even if it's just a little bit. There's something there. So that did concern me too, because I had no idea at that point. I was like, okay, is Rob saying Nick's name or not? Because if he's saying Nick's name, my name's going to be next, because he knows we're aligned together.
Right. That's what I was trying to figure out when I was watching it. I was like, you know, like, where, because Nick is the one that brought it up. He is the one that said, you know, my name was kind of thrown out there a couple times. So then, you know, then I had to go back and rewatch it, and then I see him lying there, and Stephanie kind of talking up to him. But yeah, and then, you know, Stephanie didn't mention anything. She just kind of did a, okay, you know, like she wasn't going to say anything. But then Rob spoke up and was like, you got something to say? So, you know, I wouldn't, you know, I couldn't imagine how it would have went if Rob didn't like kind of entice it, like what's going on. And then when Stephanie was like, are you going to stick up for somebody? I assumed it was her talking about Aron sticking up for her, right? Or was it, what was that about?
She said, Aron, are you going to
stick up for somebody
or something?
But not her. Right.
I don't know, because like I said, I'm only privy to the information that I've been told that I know. And at this point, live in Temple, when it's going down, I'm only privy to what Steph has told Nick and Nick has told me. I don't have a chance to, and you know, and Rob starts being like, who said Amy? And I was like, Rob, he's like, I never. And I was trying to, you could hear me say 3 times, Rob, I'm not saying you did.
I'm I heard that. Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there. I don't know what was said. And I didn't know this was all going to come out at Temple. I didn't know Nick was going to, you know, say, hey, my name's been thrown out. Like, I don't even think Nick knew what he was going to say, because when you're up there playing the banker, you're just like, you know, you're just so nervous.
Well, Nick was confident.
Everybody's staring at me.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know what Nick was going to say. So I sat there for a minute and just, instead of talking, I just listened. I just listened to everything they were saying. And then it started making sense. I was like, okay, hold on. Like how Rob would normally confront something if he was lying or being like trying to deceive you is different than how he's standing up for himself in this moment. Yeah. So I don't know, that my alarm bells went off with that. And it really made me have pause with Steph at that, because I didn't know who was telling the truth.
And
to recap here, we've got, so there was nothing that was said to anybody from Robert Aron that Nick was in fact the target. Stephanie said that. And it's something that you could believe because it very well could be true that he is the target. But so pretty much what happened here is Stephanie may have do you think she was like really just trying to drive home the point to Nick that like Rob has got to be the one? Is she getting kind of paranoid here and that's what she's doing?
I think so, because earlier I think Steph is paranoid a lot in the show. I think we all are to some degree, but I think Steph really gets inside of her head a lot. And in the beginning, and if you've seen Rob play, you know he's a master. He's so good at these shows. So I think, and Steph's a huge fan of Rob. Watched all Survivor. So in the beginning, you see a lot of Rob and Nick hanging out together. The first, 1, 2, 3, I think maybe even into the 4th episode, you see them hanging out a lot together. So I think maybe Steph was thinking like, okay, what if, like just digging a deep rabbit hole, like what if they're still working together and Nick's part of the Owls to be doing double agent work? And I think she just really got in her head. And I mean, I know I got in my head a lot too. I had to literally talk myself off the ledge so many times. But I think she just got really, really nervous and paranoid that at this point, if you're not Nick and you're not me or Jordan, you're a sitting duck. Regardless of your alliance, regardless, at the end of the day, this is a game. It's every man for themselves. So I think she might have got nervous and thinking maybe Rob did get to Nick and that they were going to send her home. So it was kind of a last-ditch effort just to make sure. But being Nick's ally and pretty much an ally from day one, I knew the plan was to get rid of Rob. Anybody that, especially a beefy man like Nick is, Rob, like, I'm not direct threat to Nick. Like, depending on the challenge, he's got muscles for days. Rob is and neither is Steph, honestly. I'm just being honest. Nick is probably had the biggest muscles on the show. So Nick recognizes, regardless, Rob is my biggest competition.
Nick won the last 2 excursions, by the way, also.
Right. So he knows, like, Rob is my biggest competition. So he wasn't going to change the plan, but I don't think Steph felt solid and comfortable knowing Nick was not going to change the plan, which is why I think she pitched like a Hail Mary or, whatever when Nick was laying in the water. And I think that just all boiled over at Temple and became a big thing that I didn't know was going to become a big thing because I didn't know Nick was going to say, well, my name's been thrown out. I thought he was just going to try to win, blindside Rob, and be done with it. So I'm only privy to the conversations I'm a part of. I only know what someone come and says so-and-so said about you, and then I react, It's just a game of telephone and not knowing who you can trust and who you can't. And it's nerve-wracking, but so fun at the same time.
And I want to say this. I feel like if there wasn't a target on Stephanie, I think then the target might be Jordan, because even Rob said, hey, Jordan's just floating on by. Like, you guys are, over here trying to get somebody out, but there's somebody that's just like floating on by. So I feel like if people, if Rob and everybody, if there wasn't this huge like fiasco with Stephanie and Rob and them two trying to go at each other, Rob would be trying to go. I don't think Stephanie would be his target, because there was a moment where Rob was like, look at Jordan. So Rob was ultimately looking at Jordan in a way as a threat.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't talk game with Rob at all up to this point because we're separate sides of the fence, So anytime someone comes to you and or to me, Nick, Steph, or whoever, and when I say anybody, I mean Rob or Aron, anytime somebody comes up and says something, you have to take them for their word. Like, is Steph lying to me right now? Is Jordan lying to me right now? Or did Rob really say this? Because I don't directly go and talk to Rob or Aron. Like, I'm not trying to play double agent. Like, it's clear where I stand in this game. I don't want to, and I'm not saying anybody rode Rob's coattail. I'm not saying Aron did. I'm not saying Jordan did, Nick, anybody. I'm just saying I wanted to play my own game. I wanted to make my own decisions. I didn't want someone like Rob, who's done this for years and years and years. I didn't want him predicting or telling me my next move or what. Like, I wanted to play this game for myself, and that's what I did. So I only knew what was said directly to me. If it wasn't said directly to me, is it true or not? I have no idea.
You don't play telephone. And that was another thing is Like Amy never played telephone while I was there. There's people that said that she was deceitful or like backstabbing. I don't see in any part of the game where she was deceitful or backstabbing in any way. Not even a clip. I mean, you look back and there's not like she's over here making some jokes about some grown men, and I don't understand why people are getting so upset about some jokes about some
And like
grown
when
men.
I called them, this is what's so fun. This is one of the funniest things to me. So when I called them Dumb and Dumber, I did not mean intellectually. Aaron's a damn accountant, for God's sakes.
Right.
Rob owns his own business, has been doing this for 20 years. I was not talking about them intellectually. I'm talking about the TV show Dumb and Dumber. They're always together. They're best buds. They get themselves into mess. They get themselves out of a mess. Like the last challenge you guys seen, Aaron was like, "Oh, it's definitely 3.25, or well, it's definitely low." And then you open it and it's 5 million, and he's like, "Oh, Aaron, you can't even read a map." They just remind me of Lloyd and Harry from Dumb and Dumber. That's why I said that.
And they're always being successful. Like, I mean, at the last challenge, Aaron couldn't necessarily climb up the tree, but then, he came in and just freaking saved the day because they're always getting out of stupid
Exactly. So I'm like, you guys, I'm literally talking about the movie. They
Like
get
an
themselves
analogy.
into these messes and somehow they still just survive. And so it was meant to be a joke. But again, people want to twist it how they want to and act like I would be literally ignorant to call them intellectually dumb because Aaron is
Right.
intelligent, and
Right.
obviously Rob's been doing this for a very long time. He's the best. So I was not talking about them intellectually. I didn't think I would have to explain that, but here we are. So literally compared to the movie, that was it.
Well, Amy, let me ask you about that because that was, I mean, I imagine that's something that people are going to be talking about all week on these Reddit streets or Twitter streets or, wherever people are talking about the show. We love how passionate everyone is and is interested in this show.
Right.
So we got the scene where you guys are all sitting around, and then Jordan says all they do is talk about Rob and Aaron, and she took exception to it.
Yeah.
Was that surprising to you to hear her say that, or did you think that was a fair criticism of you guys?
Jordan, so before we even like pulled her into the Night Owls, Jordan is very routine. She goes and takes her shower, washes her face, goes to bed by 9 or 10, like very, very routine. She doesn't like to cause waves. You can kind of tell in the game she is a floater. She doesn't want to speak up and hurt anybody's feelings or speak up and make herself a target. She's just really riding the wave. So I wasn't necessarily surprised that she said something like that, but I was surprised that she said it in the manner she did because she like we've all said to her, like, this is a game. Outside of this game, I mean, these people are so fun and cool, and Aaron's hilarious. Aaron did stand-up comedy. I didn't know that till later in the game. Like, Aaron is a cool dude. Like, I like Aaron. I would hang out with Aaron outside of this game. But like in the moment and us just saying things like that, it's just for fun to be joking. Nick said something about Aaron weighing the size of his bicep, and I was like, I mean, he's the size of my left thigh. And I'm at that point, I'm poking fun of myself, like I'm the chubbiest girl here. Like, Aaron is tiny. Like Aaron could have probably got up that tree faster than I did. Like I have a lot of weight to, like I'm kind of just poking fun at myself too. But being that America already hates me, they're gonna take it and twist it and make it whatever. But Aaron and I have talked outside of this. Jordan and I have talked outside of this. Like, we all understand this was a game. If I said anything that you thought I was attacking you personally, I'm so sorry. That's not the kind of person I am. And Aaron was like, Amy, no, absolutely not. Like, and he was like, same to you. If I said it, I was like, no, it's a game and I get it. It's totally just a game. Me and my husband play Trivial Pursuit all the time, and we keep score. And I talk more smack to him than I did about anybody on the show, and he loves me. So like, I'm just a bit like, when I do anything, it's 110%. Like, if I love you for life. If I'm your friend, you need $1,000, I'm gonna send it to you. Like when I love or I'm passionate about something, I give it my all. And so maybe I played too hard. Maybe I joked too much. Maybe I came off too catty. But again, guys, this is my first time. I'm not Rob. I haven't done this for 6 or 7 seasons. You know, I don't know how to reel it back and put on a persona in front of the camera. Like, I am just who I am. And my why was my kids and my husband and my family. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a game. And I hope every one of the castmates know that. I'm almost positive they do, because a lot of us talk every day. But I played hard and I played fierce, and I'm proud of you know how I did and how I played.
And how you're continuing to play too, because you're
I'm
still
still
in the
there.
game. You're
Final
still
5,
there.
and I'm still fighting. And
She's
you know,
still going strong.
one thing I want to say is this: like, I never gave up in any challenge. Like, the mud was really hard, but like, you can say what you want about me. You can call me a bully. You can call me fat, ugly, whatever. But I'm doing it. Like, nobody's pulling me out of the mud. Nobody's talking me off a cliff. Like, I'm showing up to every challenge. I'm giving it my all. I may not come in with the highest case every time, and I don't come in with the bottom every time. A lot of times I'm in the middle, but like, I am giving people a run for their money when it comes to my size and my weight. Like, I'm giving it my all in these challenges, and I'm final 5, and I'm still here. So whether you like me or not, like, nobody's carrying me. I'm busting my ass to still be on this show.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Amy, from what I observed, it seems like you have very thick skin. You're self-deprecating. You're having fun with being villainous in some ways.
Yeah.
You know who seems more upset than you do about all this is this one right here, Miranda. She's like on all the message boards, like defending you and Stefan.
Well,
Oh, you better believe it. You better, because yeah.
Miranda knows my heart. She knows what kind of person I am. She knows that, you know, and I'll be honest with you, it's really hard. Like, it's hard to pick sides in a game and have to go after one another. But like, you know, my husband and I have game nights with our friends all the time. And I'm telling you right now, if it's guys versus girls, I don't care, babe. Like, it's cutthroat. I will air your dirty laundry if it means I'm going to get an answer right. Like, I'm just very competitive.
Heck yeah.
And when this isn't, you know, family game night. This is millions of dollars. Like, when I tell you I grew up poor, I grew up poor. Like, I want to change that for my children. Like, I want to have generational wealth for the next, you know, set my kids up for college for my great grandkids and great grandkids. And so if I have to be cutthroat, like I said, I'm away from my family. This is a game. When I watch Big Brother, I'm like, okay, y'all can love each other outside of the house, but this is a game. You cut her off. She's dead weight to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just so fierce watching it that when you're actually in it and you're living this and you're doing your best, yeah, maybe I said a few things I'm not proud of in the moment. But again, I'm reacting off of information that's relayed to me, whether that's the truth or not, whether Steph or Nick came to me and said, Aron said such and such and such and such. I can only react to what I'm told. And if that's not true, then I'm sorry I said what I said. But like, I can only react on things I know in that moment. And that's all you have to go on is someone's word and your gut feeling, because it's not a big kumbaya, you know?
If my brothers were on this show, they would have probably gotten the heat of every moment. You know, like, I would have gotten my brother out probably, right? You know, sometimes it is what it is. And if people take it personally, then, you know, it kind of makes the game suckier. You know, the fact that there's some people that just can't differentiate gameplay and personal life kind of ruins the game a little bit. And you kind of look at that person, you're just like, come on now, like, you know, did you never play board games in school? You know, like, you don't play Monopoly and then you just skip through buying all the things and just, you know, take the money. You got to sit there and play and buy some of those lots and shit talking.
I mean, that's how you win the game. Like, you cannot win a game just being so generous and being like, okay, I'll volunteer to go out. It's okay. Just take me out. I won't be upset. Like, I didn't leave my husband, my kids, and my job to lay down and just play just so like, oh, okay, whatever. Like I'm giving it my all and then some.
Right.
And again, if that makes me a villain or a bully or whatever, then I guess that's just who I am as a competitive reality TV player, because I'm not going to leave my husband and my kids behind for just to play silly.
The way they're using the word bully, because I don't think a lot of people understand the definition of a bully, is if you are bullying somebody who is weak and vulnerable. So if people are calling you a bully, they're then calling Rob and Aron vulnerable and weak. So I think some people need to kind of go and reiterate what they're thinking about that. You know, maybe you're very smart and like, I mean, he's vindictive and manipulative and he's working through the game, but nobody's over there saying like, oh, Rob's such a bad guy. Everyone's like, damn, he's smart. He's playing the game.
Yeah. I mean, he called Dawson an idiot, Branson an idiot. Any bitty money mo, you have to go. Like, I mean, he's doing his thing. I'm like, okay, but again, Rob's been doing this for 20 years. He's untouchable. He has a fan base for days.
Seniority.
And I respect that.
Yeah.
I mean, you like it's what, Final Five, and he's still there. Like he's good at what he does. But I'm not trying to be the next Rob. I don't do this for a living. Like, this is my first time leaving my family and kids for this long. Like, I'm just doing any and everything I can to fit in and cut up and joke around and, like, just whatever I need to do to get, you know, to the next level, you know, like, I'm just doing whatever I need to do.
And you're doing a good job.
Is there anything that you want to clear the air on? Anything else from the show thus far that you feel like you'd like to explain a little bit more on or defend, or something that, because like we're talking about the way that, you know, people are calling you a bully or whatever, is there anything that you want to add context to other than the things we've discussed so far?
I just want to say like just like, if people just remember this is a game, like I said, we have group texts. I talked to Aron not too long ago. Rob messaged us, every one of us, premiere night, and said, hey guys, happy premiere night, this is great, season 1. Like, you know, we all 13 recognize this was a game. We all know nobody played perfect. There's probably things Rob wished he didn't say on TV, or I wish I didn't say, or Nick wishes he didn't did, or Miranda wishes she wouldn't have chose the boots to play. Like, there's always something that, you know, hindsight's 2020. There's always something after the fact you want to be like, oh, probably not my finest hour, but like, emotions are real. You make genuine connections with people. There are cameras everywhere. It's 114 degrees. We are on buses for 2 hours sometimes going to different locations. Like, this is a game where real life emotions are in play. And like, I feel like we all did the very best we could in the moment, especially some of us that's never done this, which I think is pretty much all of us but Rob. You know, we all, so whether you're, I guess I'll just end with this, whether you're talking about me, whether you hate me or you love me and hate Steph, or you hate Rob and love me, like, all the negativity and all the negative comments, whether they're towards me or Steph or Nick or Rob or Aron or Alyssa, anybody, like, guys, you can comment about our gameplay. That's totally fine. But like, you know, saying stuff about Rob's appearance, my appearance, Miranda's appearance, Nick wearing pearls was a big problem last night. For whatever reason, I don't know. But like, if you don't like me or Nick or Alyssa or Jordan or whoever, that's cool. You do not have to like us as players, but to personally attack and make comments about like someone's appearance or if like, you know, Aron's speech, like, he admits like, hey, I have a speech, you know, I stutter. Like, to make fun of stuff like that is just cruel. And I think that you want to call people bullies and ugly, but you're on camera talking so negatively about these people. You're literally bullying. You know what I mean? Like,
they're being hypocrites.
They're being hypocrites.
Oh, and like, the best part about it is everybody that's talking crap, saying like, oh, Amy this, oh, Stephanie that, or Amy's being a bully to Aron. Like, we're all friends with everybody. Like, Rob and Amy have no beef. Stephanie and Rob have no beef. Like, everyone's friends. Like, this was taped months ago, guys. It's not You know, sometimes everyone forgets. They think it's happening now, and it's crazy.
We all had, and like after finale and everything, we all had a night to hash it out and have fun and
pictures to be
nobody hates anybody. And so I just want to say, please, like, just stop the hate. Like, whether, like I said, even if you hate me, that's cool. I don't care. But like saying negative stuff about Rob and Aron and Jordan and Nick, and like, just enjoy the show and don't take it personal. You can say that was the dumbest thing Amy's ever done. Why would she do that in the show? But to just call me a terrible mom, like what? I'm like, okay, my kids are my world. Like, I would die for them.
No, but that's the thing, is they're really trying to hurt somebody. And like, how are you going to sit there and say that this person's a terrible person when if you're going to talk about a mother, about their child, everybody knows you don't go there. And for them to go there, it's more like you are a complete hypocrite, you couch warrior. But somebody who probably would never even think about going on reality TV.
Right. Like, I do have thick skin and I can let it go, but I know for a fact, I'm not going to mention names because it doesn't matter, but I know for a fact, a lot of people, this is really emotionally wearing on them. And like, I can let it go. Whatever, dude. Like, it is what it is. I'm from Oklahoma. Like, I used to get my ass beat by little boys in school. Like, we're country out here. We get out and rope cows and hay and all the things, but
shoot dog.
Like, for real, guys, like, just please, like, again, just anything negative personally, please just don't do that, because we all love each other in real life, and you guys tearing us down on the fact of Rob's side or Jordan's side or Nick's side, like, it's just silly, and we none of us condone that. I don't think
I don't think Rob is over here saying, wow, thank you fans for putting Amy down. Like, guys, if you're Rob's fan and you're putting Amy down, you're not doing Rob a favor. Just saying that
or
out
Steph,
there.
Or Aron or Nick, you know,
anybody, nobody. Yeah, like even with Alyssa, like if you're over there like putting Stephanie down, being Alyssa's friend, like you're not doing anything to anybody. You're just making yourself look dumb. Again, this was back in October, September. So almost more than 6 months ago, this was taped. So guys, know that things have been hashed out and like everyone's in good terms, and just continue watching and just have a good time. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah, just no, like the personal attacks are just insane. Like, there's just no reason for that. And again, maybe I said some things on the show that come off as rude or negative or a personal attack, but I hate that the edit shows me like that, but it never shows why someone said what they did. It just shows that person going off, you know. So it's just, but it's a show and it's all good, and we knew coming into it not everyone was going to be America's favorite, you know. So
Amy, I want to touch on that because I want to ask you guys this. I mean, like, isn't this part of the territory though? Like, I'm a journalist. I get hate stuff all the time. Like, if I want to be a public journalist, I make that decision and I have thick skin. And if you want to go on reality TV, you got to be ready for this stuff. Not to say that that stuff's okay or it's justified or that anyone should be getting hate. But I also think that there's a responsibility of like, hey, you know what? I'm opening myself up to criticism by going on TV and becoming a public figure. And I think you're making that decision. Like, am I wrong?
No, you absolutely. And even in the casting process, you know, it mentioned several times, like, you know, you're going to, not everyone's going to love you. Like, how do you react to hate on social media? How would you handle this? Like, you have to know going into something like this that not everybody's going to love you.
Yeah,
you're
not main character.
You have to know not everyone's going to love you. I think the difference is, though, Jack, a lot of people that have never been in this situation think they can handle it. And then when it actually happens, they realize, I absolutely cannot handle this. I was not ready for this. This is not for me. And maybe they'll likely never do another show again just because it's so much, because it is a lot. But like I said, I prepared myself mentally for this. I'm very confident in who I am as a person, a wife, a mother, and a friend. So I don't feel like I have to prove anything to America. Like, if if you hate me, just come hang out with me for a day and we'll cook and bake and do all fun things. And you'll realize like, I'm just a character on a show. Like I'm just a character on a show.
I want to talk about Amy. Like, what was your favorite excursion that you've gotten to do so far?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I know my least favorite was the mud, so we can start there. My favorite excursion that we've seen so far would probably be the one with Miranda, where I got to shoot the arrows because she was excited to climb that tree. I was not. She was like, I have my boots on. I really, and I was like, listen, I know that I'm a good shot. Like, I don't mind climbing the tree, but I know that I am confident in shooting a gun, an arrow, whatever. And she was like, and then that's the first time. Well, I mean, we hear personal offer episode 1 if you jump back in the mud, but this is the first time we hear personal offer right off the bat. You know what's at stake. And I'm like, okay, she can go get this money, you know, no matter what happens. She's going home with $20,000. I know she's single, like she left her job, like, you know, this is good for her, and I know I can hold up my end of the bargain because I know I can shoot. So I felt like I couldn't have been paired with anybody better. I knew that she was going to, you know, hopefully get the personal offer for her, but get me, I need at least 3 arrows. Like I need to practice one, like I need to get my target, and then I need a couple practice. But that was probably my favorite because it was the first team challenge. Her and I were already getting close because we were tent mates, and then we killed it. She got the personal offer. I shot it down, you know, my second arrow, I killed it. We weren't in the bottom 2. So I feel like that just started the show off on a really high note for me and her. So that was probably my favorite, really. And not just because we did well, but because everything that entailed personal offer, being a teammate, getting to be with her, you know, the first team challenge, and just the way we connected as people. That's just something I will remember forever.
It was like such a good bonding moment. And then we got to share money with it. And
it was
like, I couldn't even get some tea and turn around and watch her. She already got the dang thing.
She was
I
like,
got 10 arrows. She needed 3, not even 3.
2 arrows. I needed one to get it lined up, and then I never moved. I just kept my eye. But that started off on a really high note. And we never knew, is this the only team challenge? Is there more team challenges to come? Like, we didn't know, but we knew the first team challenge, I couldn't have been paired with a better partner. Like, it was just perfect.
Right. And then you were in another challenge, you were team captain, and you chose me first. I think, they said at random, you choose, we got to choose who we wanted on our teams.
So people volunteered to be captains. I raised my hand immediately because I knew, like, I wanted to try to be in charge of whatever fate it could be. And then I wanted to be in charge so I could hopefully split, you know, Rob, Alyssa, and Aron up. So I chose you first because I knew you're my number one. We're rock solid. You're not going to try to throw it and do anything sketchy. And then after that, I pick Aron because I was like, you know, I'm not going to pick Rob, and I'm in charge here. So I picked Aron. And then I think Dawson picks Rob at that moment because Dawson is kind of recognizing, like, oh, Rob's doing really well. So we wanted to break them up, and ultimately we got to.
Right. And then that's why I told her to get Alyssa on our team, because if we lost, then Alyssa would be a target to go home from the other team, because we already had Nick and Dawson on that team.
And Steph.
Yeah, and Steph. Right, exactly. So we kind of had to break it up. So, yeah, we were thinking.
We were thinking.
It worked out.
Another question, Amy. Is Miranda truly a sleepy owl? Can you confirm?
I stayed up as much as I could.
Listen, this is Miranda, okay, in real life. We would just be talking, and like I said, we didn't even talk a lot of strategy in the tent. We just literally bonded as people and talked about our why and why we're here. And she was like, me and Nick would be talking and be like, yeah, Miranda, and she'd be like, sleep, and then she'd wake up and be like, oh my god, yeah, that's so funny.
Like, we're at the end of our beds. We're at the end of our beds, right? And we're talking like this, talking to each other, you know, and they're talking, and I'm like, yeah.
And then she'll doze off for like 5 minutes and wake up and be like, oh my god, that's so funny. And I'm like, girl, you don't even know until you've been out 5 minutes. You don't even know what we're talking about.
I have FOMO.
But
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's like 3:00 in the morning, but we are just trying to stay up.
And it's so, because it's so, like, at home, I sleep with the ceiling fan on, a regular fan. I have a cold gel pillow. Like, I like it cold when I sleep, and it's so hot that it's just miserable. I can't fall asleep when it's hot. So we would just stay up. And then we knew when Miranda started passing out, it was probably time for us to try to pass out too. So she was like our bedtime alarm. She hung in there, man. She gave it her all.
Right, and me and Amy were the only ones that didn't sleep with the mosquito net. Nick had his little princess net around him every morning.
Oh my gosh.
What's the bathroom situation like there?
It's a porta potty.
Take a buddy with you, because you don't know if you're gonna. It's like a long little walk. Sometimes we had to just go behind our tent because there was no
porta potty, and then you get access to a shower with only
beautiful showers.
Water.
The showers were a lot better set up than I anticipated, but the water was still ice cold. But you didn't mind. I hate cold showers, but you didn't mind it so much, because generally when it's shower time, it's like a lot of people. Like I showered. I know Miranda showered twice a day. I showered twice a day most days, because you want to shower right before you get in your clean bed, but you also want to shower when you get back from the excursion, because you're hot and sweaty and gross. So it wasn't. My first couple of showers, I was like, this is torture. I'm freezing. It was. But then it was like, oh, how refreshing is this?
It was great for our hair too. And like it was like, the faucet was a bronze faucet. We had this shampoo and conditioner, and I don't even know where it was from, but it was amazing on my hair. It smelled so good. Like, it was like we were at this outdoor resort. And people pay big money to stay in tent canvases like that on an island overnight. So
it was an experience of a lifetime. One I will treasure forever. No negative comment will take away all the friendships I've made, all the memories I've made. I got bit by a crab and said a couple cuss words. That didn't feel so good, but it's just, I feel like we got to experience a little bit of everything. We got to experience reality TV. We got to experience rooming with strangers. We got to experience snake bites and ant bites and flea bites and fresh fruit. Like we got to experience so much, and nothing will ever take that away from me.
Miranda, one last question for Amy.
So I wanted to say, were you partners with Jordan twice and won twice? Was that you?
No.
Or was that the first time that you were partners with Jordan and actually won immunity?
Yes. So I was partners with you first, and then Aron with the dynamite.
Yes.
And then Steph with the paddleboard.
Okay. Yes.
Jordan at the ATV.
So Jordan won two immunities. Because didn't Jordan and...
No, Jordan and Alyssa were paddleboard partners.
Oh, they almost.
Rob and Nick ended up winning that one.
Last minute, huh? Okay.
But Jordan and I got immunity. Had we known anything, that's what they say. When you roll up to the excursions, you have no idea. You think you know because you can look at something and think you know, but you have no idea what you're about to do. Jordan is a runner. Jordan very well should have been the one driving that ATV and running her little legs off, not me. And I should have been communicating with the walkie-talkie, but nonetheless, we were both put outside of our comfort zones. We chose opposite of what we thought we probably would have done had we known. But I am a gambler. I took the red case, and we ended up, coming out on top. So I was really proud of that.
And behind the scenes, how long were you really running for?
Oh my gosh. I was the last to come in by probably 30 minutes, 30 minutes, because I ran so far off the path that my walkie-talkie just didn't even work anymore. Because I didn't know. Like, Jordan was like, you'll see the markings, you'll see the cases. And I didn't know that it was under a pile of rocks. Like, I didn't even think to start digging. I was looking for cases like hanging from trees.
Were you just walking around those piles of rocks?
I was just running back and forth. I ran all the way to another river or something. I was like, Jordan, I'm at the water. But like I said, had I known, but she never said, look for a big pile of rocks. But at the same time, like, she may have thought, okay, idiot, like, I don't need to tell you. They're clearly more, you know what I mean? I just was in my head because I was just like, okay, I'm not the runner, but I got this. And, I just got in my head. But at the end of the day, like I said, I didn't, there's not one excursion I gave up on. I ran my little legs off until the job was done. And, when we got to the final case and I saw that the big one was already gone, and I was like, I passed Nick. It doesn't show this either, but I passed Nick, and Nick and I kind of stop and talk. We're like, I got this, so you guys can get this. And I was really surprised during the challenge that it shows Steph not willing to work with Jordan, because at this point I'm like, it's the Night Owls against these two. Like, why are you guys not, like, Steph, you need to share information with Jordan so Jordan can relay it to me so I know what to grab, so that kind of surprised me a little bit, which caused a little bit more pause, before. Yeah. So that caused pause. And then at Temple that night, that stuff that went down, I really had my eye on Steph. I didn't know what she was up to, but even though she was in my
real
alliance,
interesting to see what happens next. We'll find out next week.
I know.
We got to wrap things up here. So, okay. Amy, why don't you give us your social media handles so people can follow you? If there's anything you want to plug or promote or parting words, go ahead.
OKC Amy _McCoy. That's on everything. That's my handle on everything. Again, I just want to reiterate, you can love the show. You can have a fan, your favorite. Everybody loves having a fan base, but whether you're for me or against me, don't bash anyone. Don't bash other contestants. It's just not a good look. We all love each other. We all get along. I wish Rob the best. I wish Aron the best. I wish Alyssa the best. Jordan, Miranda, Steph, Branson, Jamil, Claudia.
Miranda.
If I'm missing anybody, we all want the best. We all, if this platform's into something different or a different show you want to do, like, just support it. We all put ourselves out there. We all put our lives on hold to do here and be a show and, put it all out there for America to see. So you can cheer on your favorite people without bashing others, whether that be me or Rob or, me, Rob, and Steph are getting the most hate right now. And Aron, but you can love the show and have your favorites without bashing people. And I just think that every one of the cast members would probably agree with that.
Right. And again, Amy, what was your social? Can you spell it out?
So OKC, like Oklahoma City, because that's where I'm from. OKC AMY _MCCOY. OKC Amy _McCoy.
Got it.
Very good. Miranda, your social media handles.
Oh, man. It is Miranda Rose Harrison for everything. I think my Twitter is @it's Miranda Rose. If you find me in pink pants, that's usually me. Can't change it for now. But, and I'm trying to grow my Twitter. I may have 150 followers. So if any of you guys want to, try to jump on that train and give me a follow, we can go that part. And Amy too.
I've got to get on them Twitter streets. I am just so not comfortable with Twitter. Like, I'm trying to get there, but I tend to favor Instagram and Facebook, but I am trying to do better on Twitter too. So
on X, right?
Well,
I forget.
X. I'm
sorry.
I still call it Twitter. Twitter's fine.
Okay.
All right. Well, Amy, thank you so much. This was great having you on.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Like I said, you made it when you're on the Jack Vita Show.
I love that. Thanks, Amy. Well, folks, that concludes our latest edition of Deal or No Deal Island Insiders. And as you can see, the sun moved on me like crazy. So I waited till it was dark to record this sign off. We're okay here. If the lighting's okay, we're making the best of it. All right. Well, anyway, it was great to get Amy on here, hear her perspective. Make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel so you don't miss out on what we have next week. We'll speak with another member from the cast, with Miranda. We'll have an exit interview for the 5th place finisher on the show. It's hard to believe. After that, we'll be at the final 4. So very much looking forward to all of that. And then, of course, we'll have our recap with Brooke And joining us this week, it will be Bergie from Love Island and The Traders. He'll be on the recap with Brooke and myself. He's been loving Deal or No Deal Island, so it'll be fun to have him on here. Be a great time, great conversation. So make sure you guys are all subscribed to this channel so that you don't miss out on the content that we have coming soon. About 80% of you guys are subscribed, so we'd love it if more of you guys subscribed and turn on those notifications so you don't miss an episode. I'm also on social media. It's at Jack Vita Show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next time, I'm Jack Vita. Bring in the dancing lobsters.